Namaste. So, how are you going with the lockdown? Staying inside a lot? Yeah, like I saw. I've been spending such a lot of time sitting around and at the computer. And the bad thing is that I've got a laptop, which is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because it means I can lay down in my bed, prop myself up and do the laptop, or I can lounge in a chair, or I can get to a table and put the laptop there, and it's not the right, ergonomic, sorry. And so I often end up with quite a sore back. So I wondered if you were in the same boat, and I thought maybe this little sequence might help you. So see how you go. It's really good for just moving the spine and getting into the right posture, because we tend to lose our good posture if we sit too much. Spine compresses, head drops forward, chest caves in, can't breathe all that efficiently, and all those internal organs, they don't work so well. So it's going to be good for us. Let's try it. We're starting first of all lying on our back. Just position yourself comfortably and bring your knees up to your chest. Hug your knees. Lengthen the back of your neck. Now if you find that you've got your chin like this when you're lying down, then place a cushion underneath your head so that the forehead can be higher than the chin. Just gently rocking side to side. This gives you a nice little massage on the muscles on each side of your spine. Just relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, relax around your eyes. Bring your arms down and you're going to be making some circles with your knees. This is massaging at the back of your pelvis, and also you're getting a little massage into your abdominal organs, helping with your digestion. And bring your lower legs so that they are parallel to the floor for a little bit more work into your core. But if you're feeling straining, just keep them bent. Let's change direction. Sometimes it feels like a little bit too much pressure on the lower back, around about the pelvic area. And if that's the problem for you, you can sit on your hands as you do this. Let's change direction. If you're not sitting on your hands, it's nice to start opening up the chest by bringing your arms out to the side. So just circling around again, and then sometimes you can go side to side if that feels better. Just playing with whatever feels really nice. Change direction. Don't hold your breath, just breathing naturally. And then come back to the center. Bring your hands either side of your legs and rock your knees from side to side. Gently turning your head in the opposite direction if that feels good. If you have serious back problems, slip disc, spondylosis, anything that is actually a condition, you need to be really careful with all these poses. Just as for everyone, just go according to your comfort. If something doesn't feel right for you, then please just draw back into a comfortable place. Come back to the center now. We'll bring the feet to the floor. Bring the arms out wide. Rock the left knee out to the side and let the right knee follow it. Raise the right knee, Bring it over to the right and let the left knee follow it. Okay, so we're just slowly doing this. Don't force any, don't want to feel any pulling around the lower back, just gently. Just moving those muscles rather than thinking of having to stretch them. Now if you'd like a little more challenge, widen your feet even further. This will give you a little bit more stretch around your hip and lower back. Just being careful, it's the very beginning of our workout, so the muscles aren't warmed up yet. Keep breathing naturally. You may find that your breath settles into a particular rhythm. You're breathing out as your legs come over, breathing into the center. But if that doesn't just happen naturally, don't worry, don't struggle with your breath. Come back to the center now. You can either keep doing that exercise or you can do it from the legs up position. So we bring the left leg to the side and the right leg follows. Right leg up, left leg follows. That top leg doesn't need to come down, you can just halfway. And the head to the other direction, if that's not too much to think about. And these exercises warming up the pelvis really nicely. Let's come back to the center now. And bring your arms down. Bring your feet to the floor. And bring your hands to your abdomen. As you breathe in, please feel the abdomen expanding towards the sky, towards the ceiling, into your hands. As you breathe out, just feel it dropping back. So breathing in, expanding. Breathing out, dropping back. Really emphasize that breath coming deep down to the bottom of the lungs. And release any tension around your abdomen as you breathe in. As you breathe out, squeeze the abdominal muscles to help squeeze out the air. The abdominal muscles will push against your diaphragm and help the air to leave the lungs. Now you may notice that as you breathe in, your lower back is lifting away from the floor slightly. You can feel that gap underneath. And as you breathe out, the lower back flattening into the floor. So I want you to emphasize that movement. So at all times, you're not leaving, the tailbone stays on the floor. And you're just working the lower back forward and back. Breathing in, it comes up. Breathing out, it comes down. You can relate to this with the hips. So if you bring your hands to your hips, as you breathe in, the top of the hips roll down towards your legs. As you breathe out, the top of the hips roll into the floor. So feel that movement there. Nice and slowly, and that enables you to take a nice deep breath in and a very satisfying breath out, squeezing all the air out of your lungs. Now keep this breath going, this movement in the pelvis, and let the breath rise up into your rib cage and sternum. So breathing in, and now your sternum's lifting a little bit, and breathing out, sternum dropping down, lower back dropping down, breathing in, lifting upwards, some small movement, not big like the lower back. going to combine this with a little bit of back strengthening, hip strengthening. This is the bridge pose. So we breathe in, the hips are moving forward. Breathing out, they're dropping back. And then we're starting to tuck the tailbone under and lift the hips up. Now take a breath in and go right up into your sternum. And then on the outward breath, we're starting to roll down. All the air out. For our inward breath, we do our hip tilt. For the outward breath, we flatten, we roll away. Once we get up the top, we inhale. We exhale, coming back down. Keep your thighs parallel to each other. Breathing in, breathing out. Coming up. Breathe in. Breathing out. In your own time now, slow that movement down. When you come up to the top, you don't want to be puffing your rib cage up, just lifting your sternum up towards the chin. And then come back down and draw your knees into your chest. Hug your knees again, have a little wriggle around. And we're coming up into a seated position. And come onto your knees. If it's not comfortable on your knees, maybe put a pillow underneath, a cushion underneath your knees, so you have something soft to sit on. Okay, we're going to just open up the shoulders, a little bit of shoulder exercises. As we develop a hunch from this bad posture, then we tend to get really tight across the front of the chest. This helps to ease that tightness. And change direction. Give your shoulders a little wriggle. And now bring your arms out to the side and stretch them out really wide. Feel how the arms are sort of coming out of the shoulder joint. Just like a turtle's protruding its neck from the shell. And now we want to draw the arms into the shoulder joint. That's like the turtle retracting its head in. So out and in, and out and in. Okay, so now this time when we're drawing in and you're feeling those muscles really firming around your shoulder blades, around the back of your shoulders. Now we want to keep that feeling and just broaden without stretching out. So you get that feeling of you're stretching out, but you're being held back by those muscles around the shoulder blades. This is called Amsa Bandha, and this is a co-activation of the muscles around the shoulder joint. And it's how we want to prepare the shoulders. Bring your arms down, prepare the shoulders for when we put weight into them. So we want that feeling of broadness between the shoulder blades and squeezing in. See if you can get that without your arms out. So broaden and just gentle squeeze. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears, and you're all set up to put weight into your hands. So we're going to come down onto our hands and knees and just warm up the spine just a little bit more. If you can, hands under the shoulders, or if you have wrist issues, you can have them a little bit further forward, it doesn't matter. Just nice and strong in the shoulders, and round your back up to the sky. Now keep the pelvis level, so this is different than what we did on the floor where we were arching at the lower back. So this time we're keeping the pelvis level and lifting the sternum as we breathe in. And then breathing out, round the back up. You can tuck the tailbone, drop the head, have a good stretch. Breathing in, level pelvis, lift the sternum. Rounding and lifting. Keep going. Keep those shoulders nice and strong. Press out to the base of your fingers and thumb, right out into the fingertips. This takes the weight out of the heels of the hands and the wrists. Now from this cow pose, now keep your shoulders down from your ears. Broaden between your shoulder blades, curl your toes under, keep your knees bent, lift your knees and swing your hips back, getting a really good stretch, and then come back down on your knees, lift up into cow. Breathing out, round, breathing in and breathing out. And back again, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in again. Shoulders strong, away from the ears, knees stay bent, stretching out. We're not thinking about the leg stretch at the moment, working on the spine and the shoulders. Breathe into cow, breathe out. Into cow, and lengthen, and again. This is also strengthening your core, strengthening around your back, and helping with that slouching around the shoulder blades that we get. One more. Knees to the floor. Sit back and sit down in a seated position. Okay, comfortable. Bring your fingertips behind you, lift up a little bit and lean forward, and then sit back down so that you're at the front of your sitting bones. If you're not at the front of your sitting bones and your back is still rounding like this, then you can get your block or cushion and you can sit on it. So in this pose, we're going to do a little bit more shoulder work, and the way that we do it differs for everyone according to the length of your torso and the length of your arms. And some people have got a really short torso and long arms, which is a bit like my proportions. Other people, long torso, short arms. Some people, and you know, the variations go on. So for this pose, what we need is to be able to have the hands flat on the floor. So if I'm sitting up like this on the block, then I'm up too high. So we want the hands flat on the floor. So you may need to have books or blocks underneath your hands if your arms aren't long enough to reach the floor. Or you may need, if your arms are really long, then you may need to be sitting up on a block or a cushion, a couple of books. So just work out how you need to be so that you have your shoulders down away from the ears and the arms able to straighten. So from here, we want to make sure again that we're on the top of our sitting bones. We're pressing into the hands, drawing the shoulders down, and do you feel how this is another kind of a active co-activation around your shoulders? Just stay here as you breathe, pressing in so you're almost lifting up. And for those of you who are strong enough, you will be able to lift up. So I haven't got enough room to lift up. I would need 2 blocks so I could lift up. Or go up into my fingertips, lift up like this. Keeping your shoulders down, lifting up, really strengthening around there. And breathing and holding. Draw the chin back, sternum lifted. Feel the core engaged. And release. Just give your shoulders a wriggle. And wriggle your spine. Have a little turn side to side. And we're going to come seated with the legs out long now. Bend your knees and bring your hands down underneath your shoulders. And this is a similar exercise where we are pushing into our hands, opening up. This helps us to open up through the front of the shoulders more. Lifting the sternum, core engaged. So stay here if you like, or we can lift up into a tabletop and down. I'm going to do this 10 times. It's one of the best exercises you can do for strengthening around your shoulders to help you maintain an upright position. Two to go. Hold this one. And lower. And release. Give your shoulders a little jiggle. And give your arms a jiggle. This pose can also be done with the fingers pointing back. So, or to the side, or forward, however you like. And we're coming up onto our feet now. And the basis of all our poses, seated, lying, or standing, is mountain pose. So let's run through it. Starting with the feet, we want to stand on the tripod of our feet. So the 3 points, we have the broadness of our foot, 1 point on each side of the broadness. We have the heel, 1 point in the heel. So these 3 points, we're placing our weight. Feet are as parallel as possible. And we're pressing down at the base of the big and little toe and back into the heel, these 3 points. There's arches between each of these points. We need to have them active, and this will have an effect all the way through the body. So we need to be lifting up from these points. And this helps us lift out, gently activate our thighs. And then we're taking that activation further up by raising the arms. Now, as you raise your arms, lift up from the base of the pelvis. As you lift up, you might find that you are tilting your pelvis slightly. So just keep it in line. So let's check that. Drawing the front and the back of the pelvis towards each other. Lifting tall, think of the sternum lifting tall. Open out your shoulders and just a very gentle Amsa Bandha. So as if the shoulders are drawing away and we're squeezing them in at the same time. So the important points are the pelvis, the tripod, the lifting up into the crown of the head, the pelvis, the sternum lifted, the shoulders open, broad, and nicely firmed. And another important point is the chin drawing back. So this is what happens when we spend too long at the computer or look at our phones. The head drops forward. And with a chronic forward dropping head, then it stays like that. And then it's natural just to bring the head so the eyes are horizontal, looking straight ahead. So then with the forward dropping head, we tilt the head like this. And this is how we end up. And so we need to work on that and prevent it from happening. So we need to open the shoulders again, lift the sternum, and draw the chin back. So you keep your chin level, you're not dropping it down, you're just drawing it in. So when I say draw the chin into the neck, I don't mean drop your head, I mean draw the chin back. And you can think of it as your hand is at the very back of your head and you're drawing back into your hand. Let's try that. Bring your hands behind your head. You stay, have your mountain pose, and draw the head back, chin level, draw the head back, nice and strongly. Just holding it here, pressing, you're creating pressure, your hands are resisting, the head's drawing back, and then you're releasing, bringing the arms down. We'll do that again. Bring your hands up, clasp behind, draw the head back into your hands. And then release, arms down. And have a little jiggle. So we're going to take that movement or the steadiness of the head into some yoga poses. So standing at the back of the mat, hands to the hips, we're stepping forward with the right leg. Coming nice and far forward. So we want to keep the pelvis straight up and down, and we want to create a stretch around this muscle here. This is an amazing muscle that joins the leg right up with the lower back, comes right through and down. And when that is tight, and often it can get tight from too much sitting, then it pulls the lower back forward. So we don't want the lower back pulling forward, keep it level and feel the stretch here. Then you can bring your arms out to the side and draw them out in line with your shoulders. So if you feel you can go deeper without letting the pelvis drop forward, keep the pelvis upright and stretch back. And breathe. Keep the chin drawn back, sternum lifted, tripod of the front foot, toes spreading on the back foot. Step back. Okay, so we're stepping forward with the left foot, bending the knee. The knee should be directly on top of the ankle. Move that back foot back to where it's comfortable. And check the pelvis, check the tripod, check the sternum, check the chin. Get nice and tall, bring the arms out to the side, opening up your shoulders. And you feel how this is a gentle Amsa Bandha. So when you're holding your Amsa Bandha, you want to be relaxed, not like you're lifting a big heavy boulder, but just firm. Just being held in place by those muscles with a little bit of tone. Breathing. Think of the spine lengthening. We're stretching that psoas, iliopsoas muscle. And then lower. Step back. We'll do it again. Hands to the pelvis so that we keep them straight ahead. Step forward with the right leg. The left heel comes up. Bend the right knee. The knee's directly on top of the ankle. Checking that the pelvis is staying straight up and down, not tilting. If you have to curl under like this, it means your legs too wide apart. So just keep that gentle stretch there. We're finding the tripod, toe spread on the back foot. We're lifting tall, right into the crown of the head, chin back, sternum lifted, arms out to the side. Holding, shoulders down, Amsa Bandha. And breathing. Lower your arms and step back. Hands to the pelvis, step forward with the left foot. Knee above the ankle. Hips square to the front, stretching through the right hip. Let's bring the arms out to the side. Shoulders are down. Chin drawing back, sternum lifted. Breathing. How your back is now and your shoulders are how you should be when you're sitting at your desk. Always nice and tall like this, but relaxed as well, not stiff. You're able to let the energy flow through while you hold your good posture. And lower your arms and step back. Just have another little jiggle. Widen the legs. And we'll do a triangle pose. Now this triangle is done in a particular way that is very beneficial for your posture. So just completely brainwash yourself of what a triangle should look like and how you usually do it, and see if you can follow these instructions. Okay, so we have our feet parallel, the legs wide. If they're too wide, the hips, pelvis drops forward. We don't want that. We want that pelvis straight up and down, and we want mountain pose. Okay, so rotate the right leg out and just check your left hip, what's happening with it. Push the right foot on the floor. And if your hip is turned forward, as most people's will, just rotate your left heel either back or your right toes forward. When you turn your left heel back, it will mean that you're going to be a little bit more stretched on the inner thighs, so just be careful of that. And if it's putting you into a pelvic tilt, you need to close the gap a little. Straight up and down. Line up your shoulders with the hips, so this is where it's different. The shoulders are directly on top of the hips. Usually we rotate, don't we? But just keep them in the same angle as the hips. And we're tipping from the hip crease. We'll find the hip crease by bending the knee, and that's where hip crease is. Straighten, And we're tipping the pelvis around the top of the leg, keeping the shoulders and hips on the same plane. We're not leaning forward like we would normally do. Not leaning inwards, I mean. We're leaning out to the side, and there's no prizes for getting to the floor. The prize is for having your spine straight up to the crown of the head, chin tucked, sternum lifted, and your spine with its natural curves. You're feeling the stretch along the side here. You can just let your right arm fall. You don't have to bring it in, just wherever it comes to. There's no support needed because we are strengthening as well as stretching. Keep the tripod of both feet active, and if you like, you can raise that left arm. Remember your Amsa Bandha, so we're not lifting out of the shoulder joint. It's keeping tucked in. Nice and relaxed and supported. And breathing here. Bend your knee and come back up. Lower your arms. We'll do the other side. Hands to your pelvis. So we're checking this right hip now as we rotate the left leg out. So you might notice that mine turns in quite a way. I'm quite tight in my hips. And then we want to bring the right foot on the same angle so we're not putting a twist in our knees. Bending that left knee to find the hip crease. Found your hip crease, that's where you put your hand. Front and the back of the pelvis drawing in, shoulders lined up with the hips. Same parallel line. Keep that parallel line as you tip around. So just think of the pelvis tipping. We're not bending the spine and we're not leaning inwards. We're leaning out and lengthening. See how much length you can get decompressing your lower back. That's what happens when we spend a lot of time sitting, as the lower back loses height. All the discs become compressed. Every time you breathe in, think of the spine lengthening up into the sternum. And then if you like, you can raise that right arm. Keep the chin drawn back. If you want to look up, you can, but keep your chin drawn back. You can also look to the floor or straight ahead. And breathing. And bend your knee and come back up. Turn your feet to face each other. We'll do it one more time on each side. Rotating that right leg out, checking the hips, line them up, line the shoulders with the hips. Heel to heel, find the hip crease, tip around, keeping the pelvis straight up and down, not leaning inwards, no prizes for getting to the floor. And actually the prize is for lengthening right up. You can do this pose like this and just really lengthen. And then lift up, shoulders supported. Tripod, you might find the second time it's a little more, there's a little more give in those muscles. Chin tucked. Bend your knee, come back up, and lower. Feet to the front, hands to the pelvis, check that right side. Line up your back foot with the right side. Find the hip crease. Pelvis, straight up and down. Sternum, hips and shoulders, tip to the left. Nice long spine, no bending like this. Straight ahead. Developing strength and length. You can bring your arms out to the side if you like. Just really lengthen and then lower. Never go past your limit. If you're feeling pain, you need to ease out. Never push. Just be comfortable. Slowly coaxing your body. And then bend your knee and come back up. Lower your arms, bring your feet together. This next pose is simply a hamstring stretch and a release of your spine. So we're going to start first of all by bending the knees, chin to chest, nice and firm in the core, and starting to roll down. Keep those knees bent. If you have high blood pressure, only stay halfway. Otherwise, we're all the way down and we'll unroll again. And let's bring the arms up. Engage the mountain pose, lifting tall and opening into a very gentle back arch. Bring your arms down, bend your knees, rolling down. And again, rolling up. Feel your spine nicely released, lifting up, engage your mountain pose, lifting tall, gentle back arch. Bend your knees and rolling down again. Now this time we're going to hold. If you like, you can fold your arms. And we're going to work on just very gently stretching these hamstrings. So we're thinking of lifting the sitting bones up to the sky, lifting the sternum away from the navel, not rounding the back, and slowly closing the gap between the legs. If you like, you can come up to straight legs halfway, and then slowly ease down without rounding your spine. Come down into a squat and sit down. Lying down on your back. Now, before you do, I've got a spare yoga mat here. If you have something that you can roll into like a little bolster, that would be wonderful. You can have a blanket. You can even just use a soft pillow and fold it over. Or if you have a spare yoga mat, that's ideal. We'll use that for our relaxation. So we're just going to do a twist now. A twisting pose. We'll bring the arms out to the side. And we're going to shift the hips over to the right of the mat. Straighten the left leg, right foot on the thigh, or you can tuck it behind the thigh. Roll up onto your left hip. So you feel your knee coming up. Everyone has different flexibility in their spine, so don't worry if you can't get further than this. Just come over as far as you can, and maybe you can put your knee on the bolster. Turn your head to the right and just stay here and breathe and relax. As we've been doing, you wouldn't really call it strong yoga, but we've been doing it, engaging everything. This time we don't need to engage anything. Just relax and breathe. Roll back over onto your back. This time we'll shift the hips to the left of the mat, straighten out the right leg, arms out in line with the shoulders. Roll up onto your right hip. If you're feeling pressure in your back, just try moving your hips further over. And relax. Head can turn to the left. And breathe. Head back to the center. Hips level, draw your knees into your chest, have a jiggle. You can lift your head to your knees if you like. Just gently rolling forward and back. If this is too much for you, just simply bring the knees into the chest like this. And then roll into a seated position. Get your bolster. And we're going to relax with our shoulder blades on the bolster. The arms behind it, the head on the floor. If this is too tough on your neck, then you get your block or cushion and put it behind your head. And relax. Your legs, knees can be bent, they can be out straight, or you can do something like cobbler pose. You want to be relaxed though, so just find that position where you're relaxed. And breathe. This is a great pose to relax in, and it's helping open up the chest, open up the shoulders, really help with the hunching that we tend to get from all the forward movements of our arms. It's wonderfully opening for our lungs, helping us to take in a lot of oxygen. Slow your breath down. Completely breathe out before you take your next breath in. I've got to say, if you can, do your yoga sequences outside. I'm just lying here appreciating the noise of the bamboo just gently rubbing together, sound of the breeze and the leaves. Not so much enjoying all the little midges that are wanting a meal off me. The air is so fresh. It's so peaceful. Even if you haven't got a place you can go to like this, just imagine it. Imagine the clear blue sky, the light filtering through the leaves of the trees above you. In the distance, all the birds are chirping and busy about their day. Feeling a nice, cool breeze blowing over you. Feeling very rested. And to come out of this pose, bend your knees. So we're going to roll to the right side. So bring your right arm out to the side and roll over onto your right side. Rest your head on your hands. The left hand pushes into the mat and you're coming up.
Namaste everyone, I hope you really enjoyed the class today. Don't forget to comment, subscribe and hit the bell.